We welcome you inside the eucalyptus curtain, Stanford University, for women's soccer right here on the Pac-12 network. You've got the 7th-ranked Stanford Cardinal hosting the Oregon State Beavers. Welcome inside Laird Q. Kagan Stadium, everyone. So glad you're with us here on this Thursday evening. I'm Troy Clarity. Hope you are doing well and hope you're ready for what should be a fantastic matchup coming between two very confident teams who like where they are heading into week 2 of Pac-12 play. Let's get you through the results for both teams in week 1, starting with the Cardinal against the Utah Utes. And it started early in the 6th minute. Samantha Williams breaking through and getting her first goal of the season. It kept on coming. Exquisite placement on the service here from the transfer, Katie Duong, finding JoJo Harbor for the goal. And you know Maya Doms was going to get into the act. That's goal number 6 on the season for her. The then 10th-ranked Cardinal knocking off Utah 3-0. They were 10th ranked last week, 7th ranked this week. Only UCLA is higher ranked in the Pac-12 than the Stanford Cardinal. Well, the Beavers are feeling pretty good about themselves as well. They didn't get a winning result, but they certainly gave USC all it could handle down in Los Angeles last week. In the 15th minute, check out this exquisite teamwork between Amber Jackson with the feint, finding Abby Schwartz right here, and then Schwartz with the fantastic finish to get it done there. Now, USC scored twice to get the 2-1 win, but Oregon State feeling very confident about themselves after that result. And this is one reason here. Bridget Skiba, the veteran, the leader, has had 17 career saves against Stanford and gets plenty of help from a back line that has held up quite well so far this year. A good mixture of youth and veteranship along that back line. They will all be tested today. Well, last season, the Card and the Beavers split their 2 meetings. Oregon State's win was its first against Stanford in 17 years. Can the Beavers get their first ever win at Stanford today? Or the Card keep it rolling? Keep it locked here on the Pac-12 network. Pac-12 Women's Soccer is brought to you by Clean Simple Eats. Eat clean. Keep it simple. Get results. Beautiful day on the farm. Picture perfect day for Pac-12 Women's Soccer between the Stanford Cardinal and the Oregon State Beavers. Just 3 losses between these 2 programs. Starting up for both squads, starting with the Oregon State Beavers, Lauren Sinicola, their first-year head coach in Corvallis. Abby Schwartz not in the starting 11 for Oregon State, but McKenna Martinez is once again the freshman with 6 goals and 3 assists atop both of those categories for the Beavers. Stanford Cardinal are led by Paul Ratcliffe. Keep an eye for Andrea Kitahata, the freshman from Hillsborough, California, just up the road. She is an absolute terror for opposing defenses. Let's see what the Beavers perhaps have in store for Kitahata. There she is. Sun setting here on the farm, but still quite sunny and quite warm for this final day in September. First, the moment of solidarity. And away we go. Cardinal and the Beavers enjoy the match. Stanford at 7-2. Winners over Utah in their Pac-12 opener last week. Beavers 8-1. Started off 8-0 in non-conference play. Certainly one of those games against USC last week that they played well enough to get the positive result, but could not hold off the Trojans as USC got the game winner in the 85th minute. Second time in the last 3 seasons that Oregon State has started off 8-0. Go back to 2019, in which they had the same start, ran into Pac-12 play, and it came down to the final game against Oregon. Then head coach Matt Kagan thought that if the Beavers would beat the Ducks that day, he felt confident that they would be in the NCAA tournament that year. Beavers got the win. Paulo Oblique with the goal off the free kick at the 85th minute. If I remember correctly, I was there that night. That was a pretty cool match to call. But the Oregon State Beavers were not invited to the NCAA tournament that year, hoping for better results in Pac-12 play and for NCAA tournament consideration this year. Meanwhile, Stanford missing the NCAA tournament in the 2020 season for the first time since 1997, but already with more wins this year than they did last year. Aimed towards Amy Sayre, who's in the starting 11 for Stanford, but that pass broken up by Juju Barker, fantastic freshman for the Oregon State Beavers. Williams the feint, and it tickles the chalk and heads down the sideline and eventually rolls out of bounds. As we're underway here on a beautiful day here on the farm, the wind kicking up just a little bit. 86 degrees here at Stanford. Makes sense. Usually September and October, the warmest months of the year here in the Bay Area. Sierra Angie with it. Has some room, finds Kennedy Wesley, who's playing with a face mask because she broke her nose against the University of San Francisco back on September the 9th. Tried to aim for Leontini, but errant pass. Rubenstein gets it back. Angie is done very well in the holding mid position. Naomi Girma with the touch, bringing it forward. That's something that she's done a bit more this season, it seems. Falls outside Kitahara. Touchline. Skips it out of bounds as Kitahara was tracked down by Helena Brown, with Juju Barker not far behind. Kitahara with 3 goals on the season. And she has that extra burst, that little extra gear. She's able to use that to get to the touchline. Off the corner kick. And Amber Jackson, I believe, got a head in there and sent it out of harm's way momentarily. That one's cleared completely out of the field of play as that was at Kitahara's feet. Helena Brown, the redshirt junior from Happy Valley, Oregon. One of 2 Brown sisters getting the start today for the Beavers. Aiden Brown, the freshman, in the mix today. As Skiba gets her first touch of the afternoon. Skiba, the senior from Portland, Oregon, had 6 saves at USC on Friday. Making her 4th career start against Stanford. A little bit of pressure. An effective clear falls to Rubenstein. I believe that was Sayre applying the high pressure. That's certainly something that Stanford can do. And something that Oregon State head coach Lauren Sinicola wants to see from her squad. Wants them to be aggressive, but also wants them to play with intelligence as well. Sayre trying to connect with Doms. Doms wins it back. Doms on the ground towards Sayre, no. Jackson turns, looks for options. Doms swiped it away momentarily. And Girma there to break it up. Naomi Girma on the Mac Herman Trophy watch list to begin the season. The senior from San Jose missed the 2020 season with a knee injury. Paul Radcliffe feeling much better that she's back in the mix in this 2021 fall campaign. Says that Naomi hasn't missed a beat so far this year, and in fact, might be even better than she was in the 2019 campaign. Pretty impressive because Naomi won the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year that season. Engie thought about switching it to the near side, but was well covered by McKenna Martinez. Centered on the bounce. Skiba able to collect it with no one really running towards the goal. Lawrence Nicole doesn't want this team to lose its aggressiveness against Stanford. Wants them to stay intelligent and play intelligent. against the Cardinal. Says that on the attack, getting behind him is going to be hard because their back line is just so athletic. Knows that their attacking players will be dangerous as well, but Sinacola very confident. In fact, says that even though the team didn't get the result it wanted against USC last week, they're feeling great about things. The touch too hard off of Sophie Conrad's foot, thwarting a potential opportunity there. There's Lauren, her first year in Corvallis. This is her second head coaching gig. Was previously a head coach at Western Michigan in 2016 and 17. Came to Corvallis from Notre Dame, where she was an assistant for 3 seasons. Was named the head coach for the Oregon State Beavers in early July. Throw in for the Beavers. Conrad directing traffic, telling everyone, get back, get back. There's Katie Meyer, the Cardinal keeper. Bounces into the box. Tries to find a teammate, Jackson, just a step behind. Sawyer's service. As it go off of her head. Jackson loses her footing. And a big bump and a collision. And the whistle going against Oregon State. Boy, Wesley has taken her share of bumps. We mentioned the broken nose. That's why she's wearing the mask. As Helena Brown came in and made the hit on Wesley. Wesley, after missing a game, came back against Santa Clara and suffered a couple of knocks in that one too. So she's suffered some bumps and bruises so far this season. The junior from Rossmore, California. Wesley wearing the mask, which seems somewhat appropriate. We are in Santa Clara County. Headed down the field. Sayer tries to set up Doms. Doms bumped off the ball and bounces out of bounds. Abby Grubel for the Stanford Cardinal, recovering from her injury and getting better, but no timetable on her return just yet. As that bounces towards Jackson, with Germa guarding closely. Center towards the top of the 18. Service tracks it down, gets it to Madison Ellsworth. Falls to Rubenstein. Sayer skips it. Dom's on the move. Here come the Cardinal. Exquisite ball to Sayer. Sayer shoots and misses wide of the post. Well, Stanford almost got goal number 28 on the season. And a nice attack and a nice setup and a perfect ball to Amy Sayer, who came out towards the outside and maybe just a bit off target, but Doms with the perfect service. And Sayer, who's really come on of late. A couple of goals so far this season. Her last against Santa Clara. The sophomore from Sydney, Australia, playing at higher levels. She was able to reach in 2020, and at times during the 2020 season, she looked pretty good. We play on. Conrad tripped up. Play will resume after the free kick from Oregon State. Madison Ellsworth, the redshirt junior from Hillsboro, Oregon. Iron Woman. Taking the free kick. Beyond Martinez. Stanford on the move again. Sprinting. Don't have numbers. Step over. Gets room from Barker. Almost hangs on to it. Trying to find it. Skips outside Williams. Sets up a teammate. Shot over the top. Well, the near finish from the Cardinal, but broken up midway through by Oregon State as Kita Hada got past Barker, but then the breakup after getting past that initial defender, and that shot just a bit too strong over the top from Juliet Leontini. Leontini, a sophomore from Danville, California, has a goal this year. That came against Cal State Northridge, and it was a cannon off of a free kick. About 22 yards out from almost straight away. Bouncing down the far sideline, Wesley gets bumped from behind. She hits the deck again. Wesley, Pac-12 academic honor roll last year, made the Pac-12 all-freshman team in 2019, was actually the Gatorade National Player of the Year in 2017. Turn, give, not completed. Jackson, who's it off of? Oregon State. Cardinal to throw it in. Off of Parker's foot. Gurma settles it down. She's got the captain's armband, as does Sierra Engie for the Cardinal. Even with that loss last week to Oregon State, or to USC, I should say, by Oregon State, a 2-1 final, as Wesley comes forward, sets it up outside. Drifting around the top of the 18, skips off the foot, shot, soft roller, gets past Skiba. Not a clean hit by Sayre. I'm sure that she would probably like to have that one back. As Kitahara once again making an early impact in this match. I'm not sure if Williams meant to skip that off her foot in Sayre's direction, but it almost worked. But I asked Lauren Sinicola what that result against USC told her about this team, and Lauren said, it said we belong here. We can compete and we can battle. That the 8-0 start that we had is not a fluke. So that what we're doing is working, just need to clean some things up and sharpen some things. And noted that the excitement level amongst the team has risen even after getting the loss in Los Angeles last week. Well, there's Maya Doms. Scored in back-to-back games coming into this one, has 6 goals so far for the Cardinal. She is a boss in the midfield. Does just about everything. Leontini, as that bounces harmlessly beyond everyone. Ellsworth helping to shield any potential Cardinal on-rushers from getting to the ball. So Oregon State 8-0 to start, went 4-11-1 last year, and were picked 12th in the Pac-12 preseason poll this year. A reminder that, yes, the Pac-12 in women's soccer is a 12-team league. They've gotten off to a terrific start, and that young lady's a big reason why. McKenna Martinez, the freshman from Richland, Washington. She can change direction. She's very physical, even for a freshman. Almost found his way towards Conrad. Kaylin Freed and Williams with the shove. And Freed goes down for a moment. Great to have you with us here from the farm as Freed tries to gather herself a bit. She was trying to get to the ball and was shoved from behind. Now, Coach Sinicola and a member of the Oregon State training staff out to see what they can do. Kaylin, a graduate student from Sherwood, Oregon, 3-time Pac-12 All-Academic. Let's see if we can tell anything, and oh, that might have even been non-contact. Freed with an assist and a save against Stanford back in the spring in that tremendous win for Oregon State in Corvallis last February in the 2020 season. And that was A win that did not count in the conference standings, but a tremendous win nonetheless for the Beavers that day, as it was their first over Stanford since 2003. It's back on February the 28th. Stanford was able to even up the series and get the conference win over the Beavers on March 26th. That was a 3-1 win right here in this park. Stanford has dominated this series, 27 wins, 2 losses. And right now, they're on a 4-game win streak. As now the Stanford training staff is being called over as well to see what assistance they can provide to Freed. Freed being helped off, and Brianna Pizarro, the sophomore from Valley Stream, New York, will enter the match. She's given the green light. So a test for the Beaver back line gets a bit more stern here. Pizarro coming in to the match for Oregon State. And looks like she will take the free kick. Into the 18. Williams. And played back to Rubenstein. Just overshoots Sayer. Ellsworth tries to swipe it back. And the whistle with the ball going in Stanford's direction. Sayer had a good look in the 8th minute, but pushed one wide left. Doms outside. Williams, a step over. Pizarro doesn't go for it. Ellsworth cleans it up. Madison Ellsworth came off for the final 21 minutes at Yale earlier this year. That broke a streak of 38 straight matches in which she played every minute. She only missed 4 minutes in the entirety of the 2019 season. Kitahata again. That one skips off of a Beaver defender out of the park, and a corner kick coming up for the Cardinal. Just over 15 minutes in here on the farm, and we're scoreless between Oregon State and Stanford. Troy Clarity here. Great to have you with us as week 2 in Pac-12 play is underway. Right foot, front post, skipped out and finished off by Aiden Brown. Vonnie Brandt sends it back. Ellsworth with the header. Brandt, a young freshman playing along the Cardinal back line. She has been very impressive to this point. She has it now. To the far side. Doms turns, bump from behind, and then sent out of bounds. Sophie Conrad actually sending that one towards the corner. Kitahata, nifty footwork inside the 18. Waiting, veering, finds Rubenstein, chipped forward, broken up. Engie, left foot, high and tipped over the top by Skiba. Skiba on the spot there. That'll go down as her first save of the afternoon. And Engie with the left foot can certainly strike from long distance. A lot of players on the Stanford squad can strike from long distance. Corner kick going short. Cardinal relentless. Juju Barker, too. Outside to Rubenstein. One-on-one. Taking Conrad to the touch line, survives the slide tackle, but can't corral it before it goes out of bounds. Sophie Conrad, the junior from Westland, Oregon. Lawrence Nicola calls her the workhorse. Does a lot of the work that goes unrecognized. Williams intercepts. Ellsworth gets it right back. Off the skip from Martinez, but taken by Brandt instead. Brandt and Germa have proven to be a very effective center back combo for Stanford so far this year. We've seen plenty of Paige Rubenstein in the outside back spot. A little bit of Kelly Pagador along with Kennedy Wesley. And the other outside back spot as well for Stanford. Wesley had it for a moment, finds Kitahara. Leontini turns, almost. Goes back to goal once more. Right foot. Williams, the only Cardinal there, but a couple of white shirts to help prevent her from doing any damage. Big day of Pac-12 women's soccer. A couple finals already in the books. Colorado knocked off Washington 2-1 in Boulder. And over in Berkeley, the Ducks with a 2-0 win over the Bears. Ouch. But everyone's all right. Barker sends it forward. Off the foot of Laura Galferon, the senior, originally from Barcelona, Spain, transferred from Mississippi State. Conrad with it now. Pizarro overlapping. Intercepts, survives the tug, and sent out of bounds by the Cardinal. Also today in Pac-12 play, you've got USC at Arizona State, Washington State at Utah. Those games going on right now. And UCLA at Arizona State. Kickoff in Tucson at 8 p.m. Sayer pressuring, forcing Barker to make a decision. Can't connect. Up top. Germa breaking it up. Skips past Sayer. Germa. Cardinal working it up the middle for the moment before finding Rubenstein. Stanford 7-2 on their season. Their two losses came at number 5 Duke and at number 2 North Carolina, September 2nd and September 5th respectively, as Ellsworth clears that one away. And even though those were both 2-1 finals, the Tar Heels needed overtime to beat Stanford as Martinez sprints to try to give some pressure. But those two results, even though Stanford did not get wins against either the Blue Devils or the Tar Heels, Paul Ratcliffe was feeling pretty good about how those two games went. Said, hey, now we've got tangible evidence that we can be pretty good this year. Martinez, impressive stuff so far, left foot, but on frame right to Meyer. Well, we talked about it earlier, Lawrence Nicola saying that McKenna Martinez can change direction, and we certainly saw that in that sequence, and has pretty good footwork as well with the defender one-on-one on her. Not just any defender, but Naomi Germa, one of the best in the business. But even with those back-to-back losses to Duke and North Carolina, Stanford consider that as tangible proof that this year, this 2021 squad can do some good things and play with anybody. The pollsters certainly thought so. Stanford only fell from number 10 to number 11 after both of those matches. Cardinal now back in the top 10 at number 7. Stanford with impressive wins as well over Santa Clara. A matchup, a battle of champions. The 2020 champs, Santa Clara Broncos, just 11 miles down the street from us where we are here. And Stanford, who won the 2019 College Cup in San Jose, about 15 miles away from where we are now. Dom's tripped up. Service with the well-done slide tackle. Too hard for Williams to handle. Substitution for Oregon State, and here comes Brianna McReynolds, junior from Glendale, California, made the all-freshman team for the Pac-12 in 2019, had an assist against Stanford back in February, as McReynolds comes in for Aiden Brown. And McReynolds spent the first couple of years in this program as a starter, but this year so far has come in as a reserve role. Lawrence Nicola says, look, she's lit a spark under this team whenever she's been on the pitch for us. Sayer. Played back, it's Wesley. All the way back to Brandt. McReynolds a scoring threat, as is McKenna Martinez, Amber Jackson, fantastic. Abby Schwartz not in the starting 11 for Oregon State today. Williams almost tried to squeeze it towards Doms, who finds a way to get there anyway. Sets up Wesley. Centered. Sayer. No. Sayer scored off a header against Santa Clara. That was off of a free kick. And it almost looked a lot like this. The high service from Wesley. Sayer, the snap header, but it went just wide. And Stanford, when they are at their absolute best, it's not just the ball movement, where the ball goes, but when it gets there and how much weight is placed on the ball to get there. Katie Duong, we might see her a bit later on. Actually, she's on now for the Cardinal. Stanford has had a couple substitutions. But Katie Duong, a transfer from Minnesota, has been masterful, especially with the weight that she puts on balls on free kicks. Utah found that out the hard way. JoJo Harbor finished it off with a header last Friday. Duong, Breedy, and Harbor in for Stanford. Replacing Leontini, Sayer, and Williams, respectively. Coming in, off the post, and out. How did that miss? Close call for the Cardinal. Germa sends it back in. Well, we were talking about terrific service and opportunistic headers for Stanford. That was almost another one that went in. Stanford to try again. Doms almost had that one. Engie. Germa. Wesley. In the air, Skiba sizes it up. Well, Skiba officially with one save on the day. This will not count as one. Doms almost had it timed perfectly. She actually did have it timed perfectly, but the placement just a bit unkind. Doink. And that one just trickled, bounced off the line, and just went right across the goal mouth. Well, soccer can be a very fickle sport at times. And sometimes it can be very difficult to score. It hasn't been that difficult for Stanford to score so far this season. But that's what it looks like when teams are having trouble finding ways through. But again, that does not apply to the Cardinal this season, as they have more goals than anyone else in the Pac-12. Harbor, graduate student from Bellevue, Washington. Harbor actually came on and replaced Kennedy Wesley after she suffered her broken nose against the University of San Francisco and scored the only goal of the match a few minutes later. And that was her first appearance of the season. She was injured, carrying a knock entering the year. It took her a few matches to finally make her appearance. And when she did, she made an impact. Germa. Doms can't complete the run. Didn't want to run afoul of the linesman on the far side. Skiba plays it. Glances back. Not quite towards Meyer. Germa able to handle it. Pizarro pressuring for a moment before Rubenstein gives it back. Bounce past Doms. Ellsworth is there. Jackson. Martinez. Swooping in and taking it away. Cardinal helping to break up that potential opportunity. Just one shot for the Beavers to this point. It was on frame. Cardinal with 6 shots, just 1 on frame as of now. They had 44 shots against San Diego State back on August the 29th. Slid forward. Ellsworth cleans it up. And it feels strange to say that a keeper played a whale of a game. She's on the wrong end of a 6-0 score, but I think that applied to the San Diego State keeper that day. 21 of those shots were on goal. Skipped away by Ellsworth, but I believe that one went out of bounds before Ellsworth made the touch. There's Bell Brady, 5th-year senior from Alpharetta, Georgia. And coming in is Amaya Batista, getting a nice applause from the Oregon State Beaver fans in the building because she's from here, Hayward, California, my neck of the woods, appearing in her 9th match this season. Oh, by the way, Amaya Batista from James Logan High School, the same high school as some guy named David Shaw. You Stanford fans might have heard of that guy. The head coach of Stanford football. Stanford has a big one coming up on Saturday across the street against Oregon. Played forward. McReynolds at top speed. Knocked away by Germa. Oregon State with a big football game coming up this week as well, as they host Washington. You'll see that game on the Pac-12 network. That game suddenly with a lot more import than you might have thought a couple weeks ago. Martinez coming out, Aaliyah Blewett coming in. Blewett, a freshman from Cypress, Texas. Appearing in her 3rd match of the season, has an assist. That came against North Dakota. Part of a 3-2 win for the Beavers back on September 17th. Meyer directing the traffic. Conrad making the throw in front of the Stanford student section, known as the Forest. McReynolds in the corner, chipped out. And the throw in once again for Oregon State. Just over 30 minutes in. Welcome to the farm if you're just now joining us. Troy Clarity here. Scoreless between Stanford and Oregon State. Oregon State looking for its first Pac-12 win of the season. Cardinal looking to go 2-0 and extend its win streak to 5 in a row. Harvard helping make the defensive play is Paul Ratcliffe. Looking on and approving of this defensive sequence to this point anyway. But a nice ball from McReynolds. Blewett tries to connect, can't quite find Jackson. Back to service, long distance, no. It is over the top. Well, Sawyer Service, the freshman from Harriman, Utah, from about the same spot as where Sydney Studer actually hit for Oregon State against Stanford last year. It was a 3-1 result in favor of Stanford. When those two met here on March 26th, but Sydney Studer, who is now transferred to Washington State, great center back she is, that was arguably the goal of the year in Pac-12 play. Studer doing that in front of an empty Kagan Stadium that night. Not empty tonight. Crowd on hand, students in the house. Stanford women's soccer is a draw here in the Bay Area. It's a show. Most folks around here are well aware of that. Classes began last week, so the students are in full force as well. Gurma towards the corner. Kitahara can't hang on to it. Kitahara with a goal at North Carolina earlier this year. Future and the trajectory look very, very bright for that young lady if she's able to maintain it. Out of bounds, Oregon State to throw it in. Also, in case you're just joining us, Kaylin Freed, an outside back for the Beavers, injured about 15 minutes in, and had to be not just helped off the pitch, but helped out of the stadium. Perhaps a non-contact injury. Service almost got it back for a moment. Sent towards the corner, Breedy on Jackson. Setting up a corner kick for the Cards. This will be the fourth of the match for Stanford. Katie Duong, we mentioned this earlier. Terrific service on set pieces. Let's see what she does here. Bends towards the front post. Gurma, I believe, glanced off of her for a second. I think he couldn't quite get there in time to maybe fire off a return volley. Brandt, Rubenstein. Rubenstein again. Never showed for it, but Rubenstein keeps it. Back to Brandt again. Now Gurma has room to operate. Wesley. In the air. The volley. No. Landing well out of frame. Maddie Tetz set to enter, replacing Sophie Conrad. Tetz, a junior from Happy Valley, Oregon. Scored against Seattle U. Was the captain of the 6A state runner-up at Clackamas High School, where she also participated in golf and track. Over Helena Brown's head, trying to recover, but Breedy making it difficult. Angie feints to get a little bit more space that Blewett is not quite willing to give. This is an Oregon State team that isn't going to necessarily back down inside the box. Duong had the chest trap for a moment. Lurking, has some space, shoots, but that one is caught easily. Skiba able to make the catch. Right on frame, an easy collection for Skiba is Kitahara. With the hard right foot. Skiba right there to make the grab. Tetz, Harbor, Breedy has a little room, forward, Breaking free, shooting, not quite, couldn't get it off of her foot. Well, credit the Oregon State defense and the reinforcements for preventing a shot from even coming off there. As Kitahara finding a different gear, weaving between two different defenders. But Ellsworth not giving Kitahara any room to feel comfortable unleashing. A little play, that means a lot. And a veteran play from Ellsworth. And I asked Lawrence Nicola, what are some of the trademarks of a team that you coach? She said, well, I hope that our intensity and our aggressiveness jump off the page. So far, I think Oregon State has fared pretty well in both of those respective categories. Still a lot of ball left to be played, though. Wesley finds help from Brandt. Dom's trying to find it and plays it back. Bounces towards Skiba. Well, coming up at the half, something really cool I think you might want to stick around for. A neat little feature on the Oregon State Rose Bowl team of 1942. How's that for reaching back in the vault? Looking forward to checking this one out myself. So that's what's coming up at the half. I'm always in for a good history lesson. Hope you are too. Should be a lot of fun. Harbor with a little bit of room, now finds even more. That's blocked by Oregon State. Wesley finding Engie. And getting it back. Wesley. Beyond McReynolds. Engie with another crack at it. Fires. Skiba has been in the right place at the right time throughout this match. Stanford hasn't necessarily had to make her work too hard and stretch for saves. Most of Stanford's shots have been right to her. Yeah, the 1942 Rose Bowl team, going back a ways, met an Oregon State fan before the show today who graduated from Oregon State 65 years ago. How about that? As Harbor is taken down. There's a good number of Oregon State fans here in the building from all generations. Harbor's from Bellevue, Washington, which is not part of Beaver Nation. That's on the east side from Seattle. Here we go again, Katie Duong taking the set piece, sizing up her options. Three-woman wall. Skiba directing traffic. And away we go. Bending just beyond Gurma. That one had eyes for Naomi Gurma, crashing towards the back post, but could not quite connect in that instance. As Wesley comes out, Madison Eisen, the junior from Rockland, California, has a goal to her credit this season. That came against San Diego State. Good to see Beaver Nation here on the farm. Stanford football at Oregon State in November. And I believe baseball came down this way this past spring. So I would imagine that Stanford will be heading up to Corvallis in the 2022 campaign for baseball. If you haven't been to Goss, check it out. Great atmosphere, unless you're the road team. In the box. Unleashing, blocked. Kitahara tipped over the top once again. Skiba rising to the challenge. Kitahara with more space than she's had for much of the way. And Kitahara climbing the ladder. Getting the tip. Keep the ball out of harm's way. The work not done yet for Oregon State. Duong, corner, bending, penalty spot. Germa has it, can't get a clean touch. Still loose, and poked away. Well, that ball was bouncing around the box for what seemed like an eternity. Intercepted. Here comes Blewett. One-on-one. Blewett versus Meyer. Blewett slots it past Meyer for the score! Aaliyah Blewett, the freshman. Anticipatory. And the clinical finish puts Oregon State on top, 1-0. Boy, she was all over this one. And then off to the races. One-on-one, Katie Meyer trying to cut down the angle, but Blewett able to find a way past. And congratulations, Aaliyah Blewett. That's your first goal of your Oregon State career. Well, just like last week, the Beavers score first. Duong has it skipped too hard. Off of, I believe that was Madison Ison's foot. Oregon State scored in the 15th minute against USC last week. Could not hold on. But it's Aaliyah Blewett in the 43rd minute to give the Beavers a 1-0 lead. Only the second goal that Stanford has conceded at home so far this season. They've outscored opponents now 25-2 here at Kagan. Germa. Leading it for the outside. Waiting. Ellsworth is there. Ellsworth has been quite busy so far in this match. Brady. Jackson fighting to get it back. Oregon State remaining aggressive, up 1-0 as we're inside the final minute of the first half. Off Jackson's head. Cardinal keep it. Rubenstein was showing for it, but Germa instead tried to take it further forward. Rubenstein has it now. Doms. With Germa coming on. Less than 30 seconds to go. High. Punched away. Coming in. Can she get a clean touch? She can, but too clean. Well out of the park. Kitahara just got underneath it and couldn't keep it down. And with that, the first half comes to a close. Oregon State has never beaten Stanford here on the farm, ever. But if this score holds up, thanks to that young lady, Aaliyah Blewett with her goal in the 43rd minute, Oregon State could be on its way towards making history. But still, plenty of soccer left to be played. Gorgeous afternoon turning to evening here on the farm. Oregon State with the 1-0 lead here on the farm. Halftime festivities coming up in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is the Pac-12 Network. Stanford and Oregon State looking for results here today and through the first 45 minutes. Right now it's the Beavers with the 1-0 lead over the 7th-ranked Stanford Cardinal. Beavers taking advantage of an unfortunate giveaway defensively for Stanford. And Aaliyah Blewett streaking one-on-one to the keeper. The composed finish, slotting it past in the 43rd minute. And that's why we're looking at a 1-0 lead to start the second half. On a gorgeous evening here at Stanford. Cardinal with a 4-match win streak on the line. Bridget Skiba with 5 saves so far tonight. Also had help from the post off of a header from Maya Doms. And Oregon State super confident heading into this match. Even though they lost to Oregon State last week, they still felt very good about all the things they were able to do against USC. The excitement level rose in training for this week's matches for the Beavers against both the Cardinal and the Bears. But that's only the half of it as we begin the second half here at Laird Q. Kagan Stadium. Great to have you with us. Stanford at 7-2 on the season. Oregon State 8-1. That one loss did come to USC last week. That one is sent forward. Madison Ellsworth has been on the spot for USC defensive, or Oregon State rather, defensively. Beavers pride themselves on being aggressive and keeping up the intensity. Let's see how that continues with the lead. Kitahara hopping through, weaving through, still has it. Let's loose off the top netting. It's rapidly reaching the point where you have to drop whatever you're doing when that young lady has the ball at her feet. She somehow wove her way through all of that traffic. Gave Bridget Skiba a little bit of something to think about. Kitahara on the United States under-20 women's national team. She has been fantastic on the wing for the Cardinal this year. Doms may have gotten her feet mixed up. Amber Jackson, the closest white shirt to it. Meyer claims it at the top of the 18. Stanford leads this all-time series 27-2. Doms slides it out perhaps a bit too far as Williams trying to get it back. Out of bounds, Stanford to throw it in. Samantha Williams took her a while to get her first goal of the year. She was a revelation last season with 4 goals in the 2020 campaign. Hard volley, high and wide. It's from Leontini. Samantha Williams played terrifically. Able to find nooks and crannies in opposing defenses, even when she was double marked, able to beat multiple defenders at once just with the dribble. As Williams, the sophomore from Laguna Beach, was named Pac-12 to the Pac-12 All-Freshman team for her efforts last year. A little bit slower for her this year from a production standpoint. She wasn't 100% during preseason health-wise, but able to break through against Utah last Friday for her first goal of the season. Throw in from Elena Brown of the Beavers. Martinez hasn't had too many touches for Oregon State. Germa harassing. Jackson. Left foot. Skips across the top of the 18. Leontini heads it down to a teammate who gets it further away from goal. Angie with McReynolds, who stays in to begin the second half for the Beavers. And back to Meyer. One player we have not seen for Stanford so far this year is Madison Haley. But we could be very close to seeing her. Haley, all Pac-12 second team in 2018 and All-American and all Pac-12 first team in 2019. But we haven't seen her yet this year due to injury. She was warming up with the team before the match today. And Paul Ratcliffe told me that she's close, and she could be available on Sunday against the Ducks. That's a head towards Harbor, but bounces just towards Skiba. So Haley could be available on Sunday against the Ducks. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Paul Ratcliffe is going to play her, but that is certainly good news for a Cardinal attack that has already shown its stuff throughout much of the season. But if they get Madison Haley back in time for the meat of Pac-12 play, that's just one more thing for Cardinal opponents to have to worry about. Doms. Thought she might have had someone on the backside, did not. And now the Beavers on the counter. Martinez fighting for room. I believe that's Avani Brandt who wins that battle. Battle of freshmen. Brandt claiming the upper hand. Kitahara chooses Sayer. Sayer stops, steps over, and forces a corner. Amy Sayer, the latest in the Australian pipeline that's developed from Stanford to Australia. B.D. Gold had a pretty neat little career here for years. Sayer also on the Australian national team. Right foot. Spills off towards the side, centered again. Samantha Williams had it at her foot, but that one's off target. Believe that was Sayer in the area for that one. Sayer's fourth shot of the evening. Stanford with 15. 4 of them on frame. Oregon State with just 3 shots. 2 of them on frame. 1 of them went in. That's the difference as of right now. The handles from Kitahara. Can't find a double-marked Doms. Oregon State well composed along that back line. A little bit of pressure now, finally, from Sayer. But Barker and Ellsworth, the 2 center backs, have performed very well. Great coordination along with the outside backs, Elena Brown, and mostly Brianna Pizarro, who came on for an injured Kaylin Freed. Substitution as Laura Galtheron comes in, replacing Brianna McReynolds. Galtheron transferred from Mississippi State, originally from Barcelona, Spain. She actually spent her part of her high school freshman year as an exchange student at Los Altos High School, which is not too far away from here. Meyer comes off her line. And no white shirts close enough to give serious challenge. Cardinal off and running. Kitahara. Back towards Engie. Broken up Martinez. And we play on. Martinez and Leontini made a bit of contact. Leontini still down on the ground, collecting herself. And back up to her feet. I believe she is going to exit the match. She is. Katie Duong coming in. Duong, a junior, originally from Portland, Oregon, transferred from the University of Minnesota, was all Big Ten second team in their spring campaign last season. We've already seen what she can do, mostly on set pieces. Well, already has 3 assists on the year. On the ground, Harbor keeps it in. Broken up Pizarro. Coming to you from the place they call the Q. Laird Q. Kagan Stadium here at Stanford. Gorgeous evening, picture perfect. Harbor. Left foot. Sent away. Germa. Engie. To the far side. For a little bit of room, the left foot broken up. Ellsworth again. Hard off of Conrad's foot. Cardinal keep control. Out of bounds, Oregon State to throw it in. Lauren Sinacola in her first year as the head coach at Oregon State. And I asked her how critical the buy-in has been. Because look, you come in, you're a fresh face, new to the program. Sometimes buy-in, especially from older players, can be a bit tough for a new coach. As Doms settles, pokes outside, Duong chasing it down. Duong tried to find Doms in the thicket won. Sinacola said, no, the buy-in has been great. Look, I got to rely and trust on my players, but it's got to be mutual. They got to trust and rely on me as well as a head coach. She said the team had no hesitation at all. It was a smooth transition, especially coming in early July. Not a whole lot of time to hit the ground and get a whole lot of things going. Coach Sinacola said our early success is due to the buy-in of all the players, the veterans and the newcomers as well. That's super critical. You're a new head coach. Ahead, Sayre, centers, Dom swooping in, no. Boy, Dom's almost showing another gear and almost beat Sawyer Service to the ball. Quick throwing. Back to Engie. Service is there. Tried to hit Jackson on the outside, but instead Stanford breaks it up. Here's Kitahara. Across the top, skips it through. Harbor tries for the rebound, can't get there in time. Doms playing back a bit further than normal. Duong outside. High back post off the top net. It's Paige Rubenstein. She and Maya Doms were teammates at Davis Senior High School in Davis, California. Just find your way to I-80 here in the Bay Area, head east, and you'll get to Davis before you get to Sacramento. You can't miss it. Maddie Tetz back in the match, replacing Sophie Conrad. Davis, California, of course, home of UC Davis. Their men's soccer program looking pretty good right now. Off to a good start in the Big West. In the box, finding a foot, but can't get it cleanly. Meyer able to smother that one before anything got too serious. Oregon State, of course, doing terrific things in the men's soccer side the last couple of years. Big fan of Terry Boston, what he's done for that program. Of course, Jeremy Gunn needs no introduction in the men's soccer world with all he has accomplished here at Stanford. Tough start for the men. for the Cardinal so far this season. Let's see what happens when they get deeper into the meat of Pac-12 play on that side of things. Duong, outside, Williams, centered, sent back, aims to Sayer. Martinez puts it back beyond the touchline. Cardinal to throw it in. Just one goal tonight in this one. Belongs to the Beavers. Belongs to Aaliyah Blewett. Back in the 43rd minute. Chest trap, Kitahara. Kitahara strikes, goes down and gets it. Another save from Skiba. Well, cool and calm, Kitahara able to collect it and get just a bit of space. Good idea. But Skiba in position, had eyes on the ball the whole way. "60 minutes in here at Stanford." Great to have you with us. Troy Clarity on the Pac-12 Network. And miscommunication, Derma sending it towards both Kitahara and Harbor. Kind of almost looked like one of those situations you see in the outfield sometimes. You got it, I got it, I got it, then no one has it. There's the lone goal scorer in this match so far. 1-0, Oregon State leading Stanford. Doms pulls it down. Duong able to get it back. Doms turns, sends it on the ground, and it rolls well wide of the frame. Taking it back to the 43rd minute, and an unfortunate giveaway for Stanford here. The miscommunication, Blewett pounces on it, she's off to the races, and the clinical finish for Aaliyah Blewett. That's why we're sitting at a 1-0 score right now with the Oregon State Beavers on top. Belle Brady in the game for the Cardinal, replacing Amy Sayer. That substitution made just a few moments ago. Should mention in Tempe, USC and Arizona State currently tied at 1 apiece. What a great start Arizona State's been off to. Washington State and Utah scoreless in the 64th minute in Salt Lake City. And in about a half hour, UCLA and Arizona get going down in Tucson. So an action-packed weekend of Pac-12 women's soccer. Cardinal, of course, hosting Oregon on Sunday. That's a 1 o'clock kick that you, of course, can see here on the Pac-12 Network. Back to Germa. Rolled forward, Brady. Barker immediately there. Finds Kitahara. To the oohs and ahs of the student section. Forward, almost found its way towards Brady. Duong had it for a moment again. Barker trying to win it back and beat Doms. He's just able to get it to Blewett. Running at top speed, trying to track it down. The unclean touch. Stanford able to keep it in bounds. Whistle on the field as Andrea Kitahara is getting looked at for a brief moment, maybe needed a second or two to work something out. Make sure that she is good to go. 3 goals on the season for that young lady from Hillsborough, California, just up the road. Her brother Garrett plays squash at Cal. So a house divided when Stanford and Cal get together in the Kitahara household, I'm sure. There are a few of those, of course, here in the Bay Area and nationwide. I'm sure a few Oregon State houses divided as well. I forget the young lady who was playing for the Oregon Ducks just a couple of years ago, who actually grew up in Corvallis. I half wondered if that was legal. Germa with options. Harbor, left foot, top of the 18, Sawyer service. Cardinal continuing to test and tap and probe. But to this point, Oregon State's back line is held up. To be sure, Stanford has had some good looks that they haven't been able to put through. And I still am gobsmacked by how that header from Doms glanced off the post and then went clear across the goal line, across the goal mouth, and didn't go in. Back in the first half. Let's see if Stanford can punch it through here from Katie Duong. High in the air, off of Ellsworth's head. To Rubenstein. He tries again. Sails over Germa's head. Pizarro swoops in. And hangs on to it. Boy, Amber Jackson was running up the middle of the field. If that ball had somehow been able to find her, that could have been big-time trouble. Only one there is Skiba. Skiba with 5 saves this evening. And one, looks like they've taken it off the stat sheet. There was one credited to team, when really it should say post. Whistle against Stanford, going in Oregon State's direction. And Juju Barker to take the free kick. Well, now that we're in Pac-12 play, and with Paul Radcliffe having won 9 conference crowns, I asked him, what does it take to not just compete, but to win the Pac-12? He said, look, the formula usually is this: determination, health, and impact players who can come in late. And for the most part, Stanford has been able to use those 3 things to not only just be very competitive in the Pac-12, but come away with conference crowns more often than not. Jackson, a nifty step over, back post, and taken instead by the Cardinal. And not just Pac-12 championships, obviously, but national championships at Stanford as well. 3 of them under Ratcliffe's watch, most recently in 2019. Kitahara. Doms, no. Well, Doms can hit from far. She did it against Santa Clara earlier this year. She did it against Oregon State here in this park last season. But that one got underneath it and was never in any real danger of finding its way towards the back of the net. But Dom's certainly dangerous. A hat trick against Cal State Northridge earlier this season. comes into this one riding in on a 2-match scoring streak. Samantha Williams applying the pressure. It's off of her. Oregon State to throw it in and to bring in reinforcements. Sophie Conrad back into the match. Conrad from West Lynn High School, the suburbs of Portland. Lake Oswego, I believe, their big rival up that way. Duong, Doms. Down the sideline, Williams stops on the dime. Blocked. Ellsworth again. Madison Ellsworth, we gave you some of her statistical numbers in terms of minutes played earlier. She just does not come off the pitch generally. It's such a critical part, the anchor of the Beaver back line. As Amy Sayer returns to the match, Maya Doms comes off. Winning the ball, getting some space, finding a teammate. The center. Oregon State backline was looking around to see if anyone was going to come to that ball. No one did, allowing Harbor to get chopped down by Helena Brown, and a free kick off to the side of the box. Let's watch what happens here. As Harbor was able to take it, the short corner in the mixer. Meanwhile, as we're back to action, broken up by Oregon State. Yeah, brief miscommunication to begin that last sequence by Oregon State after they came out of the box. And Barker and others looked at the folks up front and said, hey, come back and get this. Harbor was able to get there. Eventually forced the free kick, but nothing coming of that potential opportunity for the Cardinal. Duong on the near side now. Switching to the corner at top speed. Can't hang on to it. This Paige Rubenstein could not quite get there. Cardinal out shooting the Beavers 19-4, 5-3 in shots on frame. Barker the chest trap, Kitahara the swipe. And this is playing somewhat similarly as McKenna Martinez re-enters the match. For Stanford, this is playing somewhat similarly to a match they played against the University of San Francisco back on September the 9th. Stanford won that one 1-0. Took a goal from Harbor in the late going to get the win over the Dons, but the Dons played near lights out defensively, backline and keeper. Cardinal, granted a bit jet lagged and perhaps still a bit a step behind because that was their very first match just a few days after getting off the plane from their trip to North Carolina. But Stanford took a while to solve the Dons backline and keeper that night. Haven't quite been able to find a way through to this point in this match. Only difference is the Dons weren't able to score that night. The Beavers have. Kitahara rolls, it somehow squeezes through at least 5 bodies. Double marked. Ellsworth and Barker, both there. Gurmel. Sawyer Service comes in and breaks that one up. Service, a freshman, and she has some size on her as well. There she is, number 20, both off to the right of your screen as we take a look at the referee. But Service, a freshman from Harriman, Utah, gained some notice for her dominance on set pieces. And Oregon State doesn't list heights for their individual players, at least not on their website anyway. They do on their printed roster. And Service is 6 foot. So you could see how that could be used to Oregon State's advantage on set pieces. Haven't quite seen that facet of her game to this point in this match, but she has been a big help for the Beavers defensively. Out of bounds. Corner kick, the first one coming up for Oregon State.
Up! Locking everyone down. Down.
Well, this is normally something that Kaylin Freed might be doing, taking set pieces, but it's Laura Galtheron. Towards the front post, squirts through, and scores! And the Beavs are up 2-0. Sophie Conrad. Cardinal thought that maybe the Beavers may have been offside. They may have a beef as it did go off of Conrad. See if we can get a different angle of it here. Maybe not necessarily from that angle, but very, very close. Landed off of Conrad's foot and into the back of the net. Conrad's second goal of the season, and it is a gigantic one as it gives the Beavers a 2-0 lead. Well, now the Cardinal have to get on the good foot as we have less than 15 minutes remaining in regulation. Brady, Barker, and a corner kick for Stanford. Duong. Front post, sent out, settled. Angie plays it back, skips off of Skiba, and in for the score! And just like that, the Cards answer right back. Well, cleared well, but Angie there to clean it up. And through all the traffic, finding a way, Skiba probably couldn't track it. And it just bounces in front of her and beyond her for the score. Sierra Angie with the first goal for her this season. And just 40 seconds after Oregon State goes up 2-0, the Cardinal answer and cut Oregon State's lead in half. Big goal by Angie. Cardinal now searching for the equalizer. Amber Jackson hangs in there and makes the play. Jackson, the sophomore from Susanville, California, had a 4-game scoring streak earlier this year. Helena Brown comes in, breaks it up, but now here's Angie again. Brandt. for room, slides it forward. Chipped, back post over Sayer's head, and no one there behind her. Kitahara wins it back. Back to Girma. Duong lets it roll back. Girma. Kitahara keeps it on the ground. Brandt to the far side. Pizarro coming forward to put a stop to that. Slide tackle. We play on. Brady the turn. Left foot towards Sayer, flicks off her head, but not enough on it to get past Skiba. Skiba hangs on, trying to protect and preserve Oregon State's lead. Well, and Duong again, with just the perfect weight on the ball, not quite enough action from Sayers to make it a serious challenge for Skiba to collect, but she was able to get it done. Skiba now with 6 saves on the night. Harbor. Sayer winning it back. Sayer. And eventually, the math just didn't work out in her favor. 1-on-1 soon became 1-on-2, and then 1-on-3. Switching field towards Kitahara. Good ball. Sets up Harbor. In the air. And Skiba in traffic makes the grab, beating Brady to the ball. Another look. As Harbor hung that one high. But Skiba hanging on and surviving the collision. Skiba now with officially 23 saves in her career against the Cardinal. Less than 10 minutes to go in regulation. And Oregon State trying to hang on for what would be a historic win. They have never beaten Stanford at Stanford. From Harbor, in the mixer, trying to find it. Girma closing in. Perhaps not quite as clean as Oregon State certainly would have preferred, but Skiba able to get there. Sayer maybe trying to play in that one back towards a teammate. As that one went off of her ankle. Kitahara serves it up on Brady's foot. Skiba again, and Ellsworth cleans it up. Bridget Skiba gambling and winning, coming off her line and making a critical save. Cardinal trying again. The bicycle from Sayer goes awry. Stanford again. Blott off Pizarro. Stanford to throw it in. And Bridget Skiba playing a fantastic match. But her work not done yet. Centered. In Sayer's direction, never got there. Sizing it up. Well, she might give it a return volley, but maybe didn't quite have the angle there. Germa poked forward over Williams. Brady trying to track it down, but can't keep it in bounds. Close call for Brady. Just couldn't stay in bounds with it. Skiba directing the traffic. And Skiba's going to get shown a yellow card for perhaps some delay of game related festivities. So here we go again. Pizarro fighting. And Oregon State to throw it in. Jazzy Campbell coming into the match for Oregon State. Campbell, a sophomore from Simi Valley. First time we've seen her tonight. Meyer with 2 saves tonight for the Cardinal. Harbor has Kitahada to her left, instead goes forward, finds Brady. Tried to take it across, but Martinez on the spot. Duong turning on the Jets. Elena Brown shielding her off. And it's ruled a goal kick. Stanford student section maintaining that Brown touched the ball before it went out of bounds. A couple of the Stanford players are trying to make the same case as well. But to no avail. Angie Tagurma, captain to captain. To the freshman, Kitahada. Spinning towards the back post, not quite there. I believe Brady was the intended recipient of that one. Angie, the return volley. That's off the top netting. Well, Angie got a return volley to go in the 76th minute and was just a couple inches away from cashing in on this one, too. Less than 5 minutes to go in regulation. Germa. Back to Brandt. On the run, Wesley sweeping it forward. Well, Stanford had many streaks broken last year, and they're the kind of streaks that you don't want to have broken. Among them, a 28-match home win streak and a 43-match unbeaten streak. Both of those severed last year. Cardinal don't lose at home very often. In danger of doing that here tonight. But they still have time to do something about it. Centered. Williams can't get a clean feed on it. Sayer maybe a step behind to react to it. Girma calls for it. Kitahara. Well played by Brown. And called a goal kick. Well, Brown played that one expertly. And I think when Lauren Sinicola looks back at this game, looks back at the film, she's going to be very, very pleased with how well her back line has performed, how organized they have been, and just how calm they've been. Haven't really panicked, haven't really jumped out of sorts or anything like that. Less than 3 minutes to go. Girma. Harbor. Bounces to the top. The turnaround shot wide. Sayer to try to give it a go. That one was wide to the right. Skip forward. Meyer handles it. 2 minutes to go. And Ellsworth sends that one to the Stanford bench. In the air, Brady. Nope, not quite. That was actually Harbor. Sent back. Bounces beyond the Barker there. But hits Kitahara right in the chest. Center towards across the top of the 18. Shot wide left. Amy Sayer with another close call. And the good idea, just the one touch, just wide of the post. And we are now inside the final minute of play. Kitahara. Brady turns. Amber Jackson has it, plays it forward, bounces out of bounds, and the clock ticking. Girma. Meyer. In the air. Brady trying to track it down. But the Cardinal can't get there. And the Beavers with the historic win here on the farm. Oregon State had not beaten Stanford in 17 years entering 2021. They have now done it twice in the same calendar year. The final score here on the farm, Oregon State 2, Stanford 1. And for the first time in this series history, the Beavers have beaten the Cardinal at the farm. Bridget Skiva with 6 saves and a big-time win for Oregon State. Hope you had as much fun watching this one as we did. On behalf of our Pac-12 Network crew, I'm Troy Clarity. Thank you for joining us. Oregon State beat Stanford 2-1. Back the Pac and back the back.